What's going on, guys? Today we're going to crack open a lamb skull and eat the brain for its nutrients. So I like to think I'm in the primal mindset. I got my shirt off. I'm not really in the vampire mindset. I think I'm a little too tan right now, but I think this fits in with the vampire theme, eating the raw stuff. So here we have our baby lamb head. That's some tongue action for you guys. I don't know if I'm going to eat the tongue. You know, it's on the lambs, they're pretty small and it's pretty irritating to skin them right. But anyway, the butcher actually split these for me. But before I started going to this butcher, I used to have to crack them open myself. So what I would do is I keep it in the plastic so nothing splatters anywhere. I take a cleaver to the head, I tap it in gently, and then I just go at it until it splits. And then that's it. Make sure to keep it wrapped in plastic. Make sure not to do it on a nice granite countertop. But that's pretty much it. You guys want an anatomy lesson? Fucking crazy you guys think I am. Like, I can't give you an anatomy lesson on this, but you know, it's pretty gnarly in here, for sure. But we are after one thing. And that one thing is not making a mess of my kitchen floor. But, you know, there are various tissues in the head that are very nutrient dense, particularly the brain and the eyes. But the eyes are very hard to get out of the raw animal, so I don't usually bother. Usually I just buy these for the brain tissue. And the reason we are eating brain tissue today is because of its super high omega-3 fatty acid content, and it also has a balanced amount of all the fat-soluble vitamins. And, you know, it would be cool to get a whole brain, but I don't know if you could actually get the brain out of a skull whole or breaking it open. Oh, and for any of you guys who are thinking, oh, Frank, you need a mallet and a cleaver to open this. Humans weren't meant to do this. You guys write me a check. I will go out in my backyard and make a mess all over the concrete, cracking a goat's head open. But if it's up to me, I'm keeping it clean, okay? So here is the lamb brain. Bit of bone shards all over it, but that's fine. On one of my videos, one of you guys always comments, I'm eating some raw beef fat with some meat while watching this. Like, it's funny, guys. Mouthfeel, cholesterol-y flavors, like similar to eggs, that cholesterol-y feel. Same in like salmon roe. But that's like the mouthfeel. The texture is like a firm custard that gives very easily. The flavor is very mild salinity and a slight lamby flavor. I mean, it's lamb. It's going to taste lamby, but it's very mild, slight lamby flavor. Of course, very rich mouthfeel. And the texture is soft but firm. I'll be honest, guys, I don't usually do this, I just swallow it down, but it doesn't taste bad. The interesting thing about brain, just like fish, it tastes very seasoned because of its high salt content. So you don't have to add salt to it, just like you don't have to add salt to a lot of fish when you cook it. So Frank, why do we eat brain again? Well, the reason brain might just be the healthiest food is because of its omega-3 fatty acid content, specifically EPA and DHA. Not EPA, but more specifically for its DHA content. It's also a very nutrient-dense source from a caloric standpoint. It's very dense in calories. It's pure fat, pretty much. And when we would have scavenged corpses, the skulls, maybe the animals couldn't break into the skulls. This fatty brain tissue is what I think led to our evolution and ultimately the increase in our brain size. What's also really interesting is the skull allows a protected spot for the brain to ferment, so even days to weeks after the corpse of the animal, you know, it would have pretty much tasted like fermented cheese in the skull of the animal if it sat there for a while. Oh, I'm going to make a mess. Okay. So again, what we're achieving is a very high omega-3 fatty acid content. Of course, that can also be achieved with eating some wild caught fish, making sure your grass-fed beef is super high quality. In addition to that, the main reason to eat brain is vitamin C and vitamin E as well. A lot of organ meats and tissues and animals do have vitamin C and vitamin E. The brain is one of them. I mean, I'm sure there's some small amounts of vitamin D3 in there, although that's not too important. Cholesterol and saturated fat, pretty easy to get in other aspects of the diet. Probably small amounts of vitamin A and vitamin K too as well. And if this was fermented, I'm sure some of you guys want me to do a fermented brain experiment, but I'm not your guy. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Can't stand the smell. But that's it, guys. If you want to see me eat anything else and explain the nutrient content, I'm going to do that with liver, I'm going to do it with blood, and maybe a few other things. But thank you guys for watching. As always, I got this, local halal butcher, halal market. Is there anything I missed? Oh, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, CJKD, is either inherited through your genetics, or you can get it from eating human brain tissue that's contaminated, aka if you're a brain surgeon or a cannibal. Or two, you can get it from BSC infected cows. So and there have been no cases of mad cow disease in the United States. Everything has been from eating meat in either the Middle East or in the UK. So there's no real concerns about mad cow disease, and the main reason is because you can't transmit it from lamb. That's another reason. Like, the form of mad cow disease in lamb is called scrappy, and there has never been any proof that shows it is transmittable to humans. I mean, I've literally never seen any medical literature or any case that indicates to me that you can get any sort of prion disease from eating brain tissue in the United States, let alone from sheep or lamb. It's not possible. So for any of you guys concerned about that, hopefully that answers your question. I just forgot to add one thing, guys. If an animal does have mad cow disease, it is not only concentrated in the brain tissue, although there is a higher concentration of the prion in the brain and the spinal cord. It occurs in all tissues in the body, and most of the cases of mad cow disease aren't from people eating brain tissue, it's from people eating meat. If the animal has mad cow disease, it's in the muscle meat, it's in the flesh, it's in every part of the animal. And I have a whole separate video on this, one where I talk about all the bacteria and parasites, another I think where I talk about just mad cow disease, but I will do an update on this within a month or two if it fits into the video schedule.